Okay, we're starting with our bridging and we're doing 6 repetitions of each exercise this morning. So feeling the weight sink into the feet, start to tilt the hips and peeling the spine away from the mat. Just move along with the breath, and we're focusing more so on the glutes and the lower body. Okay, the next time you go up into your bridge, you're taking the arms up and over the head. So here, as you reach the fingers away from the body, in the opposite direction, feel the knees and the thighs moving forward over the toes. Okay, the next time you go up into your bridge, you're taking the weight into your left leg and extending the right leg up, and then keeping that leg straight, lower it down, just hovering above the floor. Now you want to make sure you don't tilt the pelvis or find any movement here through the hips. So imagine you have a spirit level going from hip bone to hip bone, and we want to keep the pelvis nice and stable, nice and still. And then moving on to the other side, and another 6 lowers and lifts. Okay, as you come back down onto the floor, we're coming to the bent knee openings. So here, take your hands onto your hip bones just for a little bit of feedback, and to make sure, again, that we don't move the hips from one side to the other. So we want to keep them really still. We've got a neutral spine, and we're just opening one knee, alternating each side, out to the side, and take it just as far as it needs to go before you feel any movement in the hips. Okay, then as you release the arms by the side, we're coming into our femur arc. So one leg at a time up into your tabletop, and 6 repetitions on each side. And so we're lowering the toes and tapping them down onto the floor. And again, just take the feet as low as they need to go, letting all the exercise come from the belly. So we're using here that core strength. And you want to make sure as well, as you lower the legs, you don't arch or extend too much in the lower back. Okay, take the arms a little bit wider, and then this time we're taking the feet over to one side and keeping the legs together, letting them tap towards the side. And you're moving that stretch into the obliques. Okay, then rolling over to one side, we're coming into your book openings. So the legs are stacked one on top of another, the palms are together, and reaching the fingers away to start, and then taking that top arm up towards the sky and all the way across to the other side. And find that nice rotation through the spine and almost that spiraling motion. Okay, as you move on to the other side, and as you reach the arms away when they're in front of the eyes to start with, we want to create that broadening across the upper back, so in between the shoulder blades. Okay, interlacing the fingers behind the head. We're coming in just to the half chest lift, so just the basic chest lift. So feel a little bit of traction with your hands in the back of the head, and we're maintaining a neutral spine here. So feel like you've got a blueberry underneath the lower back as you lift the head and the shoulders away from the floor. So we're aiming to draw the ribs down towards the hip bones. Okay, then coming into your chest lifts with the legs lifted, or going a little bit further. Feel free just to keep going with the basic chest lifts. So another 6 rounds here. And this time as you lift the head, the shoulders, extend the arms away from you, lift up a little bit higher, and then holding that position as you take the hands behind your head and roll yourself back down. And from here, keep the hands where they are. We're coming into the crisscross. So come into that basic chest lift to start. As you twist the upper body to one side, draw the opposite knee in towards the opposite elbow. Now again here we're thinking stability through the hips, so we don't want to be rocking the hips from one side to the other. And coming straight into your single straight leg stretch. So 6, drawing the legs together, maintaining length through both legs. And the same thing, hips are stable, upper body's lifted, cores engaged, and then you're rolling back down. And then I think I needed a rest here, so take a few breaths. Okay, the legs back into tabletop, hands are behind the knees. An assisted roll up, we're drawing the head, the shoulders, and rounding the spine as you lift yourself up, and then growing at the top. So thinking length as you come into that seat. And then as you round the spine, create a nice deep C curve, imprinting through the lower back to roll yourself back down. So we don't want to get too much momentum rocking up and rocking back. So we're using some strength through the hamstrings to lift you up. And as you round the spine, imagine you're rounding over a beach ball, and then the feet will come away from the mat automatically, rolling the spine back onto the earth. Okay, so we're doing the mermaid this morning just with the legs crossed over. And this time as you reach over to the side, we're twisting and rotating, drawing the top arm down, either threading it underneath the bottom arm or just softening the fingers down towards the floor. You want to think length through both sides, even when you're compressing over to one side. And then rolling forward, we're coming into our quadruped. So we want to bring that neutral spine back. The crown of the head's reaching long forward and the tailbone's reaching back. And extending the arm and the leg to the top and the back of the mat. And with that extension, lifting the arm and the leg away. You just want to make sure as you bring that lift into the arm and the leg that your spine doesn't come into any extension, so we don't sink in the lower back and open the belly or the chest towards the floor. So we want to maintain that neutral spine the whole time. Almost feel like you have a little candle just sitting underneath the belly button, and that flame is just drawing and subtly drawing the belly up towards the spine. Okay, and then lowering all the way to the floor, coming into swan 1. So the legs and the glutes are engaged here. The belly button's drawing gently up towards the spine. And with an out breath, so opposite to a yoga cobra, with your out breath, you want to lift up through the head and through the heart. The elbows are drawing back towards the toes the whole time. And the back of the neck's nice and long. So the chin's staying gently tucked in towards the chest. All right, arms are down by the side and we're coming into our dart. So the same thing with the upper body, but this time the arms are hovering above the floor. Fingers are reaching back to the toes and we're lifting the toes, the knees and the thighs away from the floor. You just want to make sure as you lift the legs, we're not bending into the legs. We want to maintain that integrity of length. And this one you're coming up with the out breath, holding for an in breath and then releasing back down with the out breath. And then just a good rest pose. Okay, curl the toes and just standing up into a forward fold. And nice and gently just roll yourself up. I think we're coming into the last exercise for the morning, for our Pilates session. Okay, 3 push-ups. So getting length at the top and then rolling yourself, let yourself cascade back down towards the floor. Now bend the knees as much as you need. Place both palms flat on the floor and without moving the hips, walk your hands about 4 steps forward into a push-up position. And you're lowering yourself halfway down, lifting yourself up, curling the toes, and then lifting the hips as you press back. Another 4 steps with the hands, and back into that forward fold, and then rolling up. Awesome. When you come into your push-up, your knees can be lowered or lifted. So choose whichever option feels good and just making sure you're not sinking the body down towards the floor. So if the knees are lifted, you want the body parallel to the mat. And if they're lowered, you still want to maintain that length from the grounded knees all the way up to the crown of the head. And that's it.